It's times like these we're reminded of how famous, or infamous, Alphanode has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single Link Pro conversation? I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Who? Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and for you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. If I had to say though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. I mean, Grahatia. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantine. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlatan Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. The forum's got enough on their plate as it is, what with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortunault and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest to expect. Do they even have time to sleep? People are dying and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan and all will be well. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous, looming giants. Why, I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. Crikey, I wasn't expecting to see you here, Shino. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to say goodbye, and for having those other Loperits attack you. They bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little, on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most anyway. I mean, y'all fucking fought me first. Actually, I was rather hoping he'd show me how to bake an Archon loaf. I shall make enough to last the whole journey. Please, no! I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around. Or at least, that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Wouldn't that be fun? Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture? No, absolutely not! I shall leave its explanation at Shino. No, Urianger, you're not gonna unload this babysitting on me. Fuck you! Oh my god. Urianger, why? Why you do this to me? Regrettably, to many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big nasty teeth, Loperits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. I'm gonna let you guys get eaten. Nom 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 nom. Loperit meat. You're all very lucky that Aetherus just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Oh, we're going into evolution theory here. Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where is the food? I'm not sure anywhere in Charlatan is where you want to go to find food. Just saying. Unless you want to go to the last stand. Literally, the only good place for food here. Or so I've heard. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Let me tell you about grapes. And consequentially, wine. But tell me, what is your opinion of grapes? I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Because Azem, that's literally what Azem did. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages as I recall. What things ferment properly on the moon? Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. Or bitter oranges? Did you eat the skin? I think she ate it with the skin on? Because oranges are not bitter. how about that yellow fruit over yonder? Do not eat the lemon. Do not eat the lemon. You are going to regret this. Also, somebody needs to teach these rabbits about seasoning. They're like white people before they discovered seasoning. What a wondrous fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. Shino, are you really gonna just sit here and watch this happen? You're not gonna say anything to stop it? I never knew wool was, I guess we all knew. Wool is partially sadist. It's like, no idea how these are eaten. I'll just bite into it. Blech. My tongue. Is this poison? Then there was a lemon. The deceiver. I still feel so violated. Very well, lemon muffin. Do your worst. This is delicious. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal. And sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the forum agonized over what was worth preserving and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Heidelin sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loperites, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. But perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the cost incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetherius' species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Shino, I trust thy time at Mariel Agronomics did bear fruit. Ooh, Andra, did you just make a pun on me? With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous it must seem to you, trying so hard, yet achieving so little. It's not ridiculous, but it's a last resort. That's what I prefer it stays as. I still have work to complete elsewhere. I trust that I wouldn't return to find any Loperites in tears. I don't know, I might make him cry on purpose. Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about? Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatial-temporal spell, to regulate the environment. But what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star? Aha, gravitation. Maybe it can be of help after all. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. This one is beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. Paging the last lost soul of Shalayan. We've got bunnies for you. Shino, he said he was glad we spoke, and he thanked me. It was all worth it after all, wasn't it? Even the mistakes we made, because now we can tell them what not to do. Yep, that is research in a nutshell. Oh.
そういうことでしたら、こちらのスリーピングウェイと話してみるのがよろしいかと。彼は月の操縦士ですので。
Are we sure we want a narcoleptic bunny as our pilot?
そもそも彼から教えられなければ地上に降りてくることもなく月で待ち続けていたでしょう。
こんな光景、昔のウリエンジを知るやつが見たら驚いて喜んだだろうな。ルイゾワ様やミンフィリア、パパリも、それから
Moonbreeder. Are those Moonbreeders Family. Oh, they are.
いや、ここでいい相談役を紹介してもらえると聞いたんだ。私たちにも頼めるかな。
No. It's Moonbreed, his parents.
ウィルフスンさん、ブローウィドさん、
ムーンブリダのご両親だ。
お久しぶりです。お二人ともこちらにいらしたのですか。
まったくだよ。あんたと来たらうちの子の訃報に手紙を添えてきたきり、何の連絡もよこしやしない。
That's where Moonbreed got her personality from.
本当に心配かけて。
He was so afraid, but they were worried about
申
him.
し訳ございません。直接ご報告に伺うべきだと分かっていながら、何よりムーンブリダのことを私は。
ルイゾア様に置いていかれたと嘆いていた彼女にとって、君たち暁が呼んでくれたことがどれほどの喜びだったか。
I think he's always regretted calling her. And this scene makes it evident. Because maybe if he hadn't, she would still be alive. I was not expecting the scene to sucker punch me like that. It was such a lighthearted thing, and then suddenly, wham.
どうか君も己を責めるのではなく、彼女を誇ってやってはくれないか。
私たちに起こってることがあるとすれば、それはあんたと一緒に泣けなかったことだよ。あんな震えたちの手紙だけよこして、私たちであんたの分まで泣く羽目になったじゃないか。
本当に申し訳がございません。私は語れる言葉を持たなかった。こみ上げる気持ちもよぎる思い出も一つとして正しく言葉にできなかったのです。
Loudly crying,
積み
holy
上げて
shit.
きた知識も読み解いてきた詩も無力でした。私はただ無力で。
バカだね。誰だってそうさ。私たちだってあの子、この悲しみを語れはしないよ。だからちゃんと分かってたんだよ。
そして君は今こうして大勢の中にいる。それどころか絆を結ぶ手助けまでしているね。
Yancha's character development for real.
私たちはそのことがたまらなく嬉しいんだ。
うちの自慢の娘の笑顔を今日はとても近くに感じるよ。ありがとう、ウリエンジェ。
はい、私も今やっと思い出せています。あの笑顔は眩しく温かく、悲しいものではなかったことを。
私はただまだ知らないことが多いのだと思い直しただけですわ。
そうだな。生まれた時からここにいたって、知らないこと、わからないこと、足りないことだらけだ。だからこの星はまだ終わるには早すぎるんだよ。
Oh my goodness. Okay, I need a moment. Oh god. Oh god. That was a cry. That was a cry. When I first held her, the moon was shining silver and full. The whole world seemed to glow. I knew it had chosen her, that she would be a beacon of that self-same light. Of course, we'd later hear our fair share of jokes about how we ought to have gone for sun instead, with how bright and stubborn she was. But fiery as my moon breather was, she was always kind. Kind and gentle. Oshino, you assured that I am fine? I am. Oh, glad to see them too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept the kindness, 'twould have been far harder had I faced them alone. Just a moment, you are Fortunal's children, are you not? Alphinaud and Elise at your service. You're well acquainted with father, I take it? Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studio. You knew our parents when they were young? What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. You both have my thanks. Thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and... That's quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate. Archon Louiswalk looked not to Newcraft's words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom. It is indolence. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Fortunal agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. God knows Fortunal's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born, barely recognizable he was. With a kind of dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Aww. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alec, of the Empire's twilight years in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Elegant's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world. Delamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alec's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his former life. He only joined the Asians once the empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined, like how my soul is naturally disposed to be an adventurer, as can be evidenced by both Ardbert and myself? Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. To reach those stars and wings of adamantite. To travel to the ends of creation and beyond. The promise of hope everlasting. That much I do understand. You might be right. There might be some sense in what he's saying about souls having a natural inclination.
身や人の積み込みはともかく、箱舟そのものの準備は順調そうだったな。あとはエーテル宿タイルさえどうにかなればって感じだ。
さて、こうなるとエクスアダマントを待つばかりだな。
It's here, it's here.
アルフィノ君聞こえる？こちらクルルよ。お待ちかねの品が届いたわ。至急みんなと一緒に地上に上がって港へ来て。
古城様、お忙しいところ失礼します。緊急のご報告が。それがなんというか、指針の港が大変なことになっておりまして。
これは
すごい。まさかこれ全部
何
なんじゃこりゃ。ここにいる全員あの海賊船も飛空艇も荷物を届けに来た連中だってのか。
Welcome to Eurasia, where travel time doesn't matter.
ああ負け惜しみか。つうかお前本当にダラハブ編まで行ったのかよ。
おお、入り口まで行ったぞ。あとはつてをたどってこういうお宝探索の専門家空賊たちに話を持って行ったりしたな。劇団マジェスティックの皆さんがあなたによろしくと。光の戦士の冒険譚に再び劇場艇が出てくるとは光栄だと。
しかしそれだけ多くの神器や魔器を集めたとなると多額の費用がかかったのではないだろうか。
東アルデナード商会としましてはロロリト会長の指示のもと将来も見据えて悪くないようにやっておりますのでね。
I mean, yeah, if the world ends, you have no future to make profits from, so that's only fair, I think.
加えて暁からはすでに資金提供を受けております。それを使って揃えてきた品々ですから正真正銘皆さんの戦利品です。
すでに資金提供？それは
Tataru?
私をケチなだけの金庫番だとお思いでしたか。それだけではありません。今回は超強力なパトロンが力添えをしてくださいました。暁の設立当初まだ資金の乏しい冬の時代、
Mom?
そんな頃からこ
Mom?
っそり支援してくださったこのお方ってお母様。
アメリアンス。
あら、私はあくまで中立よ。けれどあなたが頑張って用意してくれている箱舟にもうちの金庫を乗せたりはできないでしょ。使えるうちに使ってこそのお金だもの。
I love Mom. Mom. Reginald's like headache. ねえねえ。
しかしこれだけの短時間によく連携が取れたな。派遣団に参加していた連中以外にも随分広まってるようだが。
そこはほら、私にもつてがあるって言ったでしょ。
俺らは自分で集めたからこそ知ってるんだ。この星にはまだまだ道がたくさんあるってことだから、終末と抗う道を探してる暁に手を貸した。もっとも人使いの荒さにかけてはオタクらと同じくらいだったけどな。
よ
Vitra.
宇宙を行く船を作ってるんだって。これまで我が社を散々巻き込んできたんだ。そんな面白そうな案件にだけのけ者ってことはないよな。ガーロンドアイアンワークス参上だ。集まった素材を箱舟に組み込む役目、俺たちにも手伝わせてくれ。
The Final Fantasy theme. I love this. Oh my god.
でお前はどうした。分身とはいえ週末の最中にお前が来たんだ。野暮用じゃなさそうだな。
以前我が父の話をしたのを覚えているだろうか。フソミドガルゾールムは星渡る竜だった。その鱗は生涯の薄いエーテルさえもよく捉え、長く遠くへと渡る力に変えたという。故に君たちが星渡る船を作るというのなら、父の鱗を託してはどうかと考えた。アジュダヤからはいつものことだが返事がなかった。ティアマットはよしと言った。フレースベルグも 彼方からよしと返してくれた。もって父もひとときまどろみから浮き上がり、私に告げた。では、だから私は源流の鱗を持ってきた。君たちが望む結末へと踏み出す力として使ってほしい。
Good Sommer!
なんてこった。奇跡でも起きたってのか。それどころか、もっと遠い星までだって行けちまいそうだ。できるぞ。
We're not blowing up anything then.
てるしくたいのが。
We're not blowing up anything.
他ならぬククロ氏がこう言っているのだ。暁は取引の条件を満たしたと認めてやるべきではないかね。
Father? You're just scaring us.
お父様。
お前たちがハイデリンに何を求めているのかはわからない。箱舟をどう使いたいと考えているのかもな。いずれにせよ、この局面でそれらに関与することは人の存亡、星の命運を左右するに等しいだろう。その責任を負う覚悟はあるのか。
Yes.
はい。すべての出会いが私の語る世界に中身をくれました。その上で私は世界を救いたいのです。
ならば私も
Finally, Father.
お前たちがこれからなすことの責任を家族として分かち合わせてほしい。お前たちが生まれた時、あの小さな手がこの指を握った時に、私は胸が詰まる思いだった。言い知れないほどの愛しさとまばゆい幸せ、それから怒りにも似た激しい決意がこみ上げてきたのだ。私はすでに哲学者議会の一員で終末の予言を知っていた。そんなものにお前たちの未来を奪われたくはなかった。父はシャーレアンの使命に対し異なる考え方を持っていた。その考え方を、父自身を、私は大人になるにつれ愚かだと感じるようになっていた。私は再び決意した。自分がお前たちを守らねば。そのために今度こそ障害となる全てを切り捨てようと。たとえそれがお前たち自身の意志であってもだ。だが浅はかだったな。お前たちは私が思っているよりずっと多くのことを学び、自分たちの足で求める方へと歩き始めていたようだ。私ばかりが守らねばと思っていたが、お前たちはもう守りたいと願う側にいるのだな。
ええ、そうよ。見つけたの。大切なもの、大切な人たち、たくさんのかけがえのないもの。
The change in voice from her usual voice to the softer one. Oh my goodness.
それを知るまでの道のりは平坦ではなかっただろうに。
すべてが無事に終わったら きっとお話ししましょう。私たちが見て聞いて感じて考えたことを。この厳しくも素晴らしい世界のことを。
あら大変。古篠さんは2人からの手紙だってハラハラしちゃって読めなかったのよ。
Mom calling that out like that. No mercy.
旅のお話なんて聞いたらどうなってしまうのかしら。
アメリアンス、君たちにも度重なる非礼をお詫びせねばならない。ならばどうかこれからも二人のことをよろしく頼む。
じゃあまずはこの場を動かさないとだな。みんな指示を待ってるみたいだぞ。
ひとまず君から一声かけてはくれないか。君を慕ってきている者も多いだろうからね。
What choices? Lend us your strength. Our moment of triumph is close at hand. With me. With me.